Welcome back to the channel, guys. For anybody new, I'm Matt Luna, and this video is my Tackle Tip Tuesday video where I'm talking to you about one of my pet peeves in the fishing industry, and that it's modifying your jig's weed guard increases your hookup ratio. I don't think that this is the case, and I pretty much always leave my weed guards the same, and I do not have hookup ratio issues. So I'm going to tell you why I think that is, but I'm also going to show you how to do it correctly for those of you that still want to modify your jig weed guards after watching this video. Real quick, guys, I got to talk to you about Waterland Fishing Optics. They make polarized sunglasses. A couple of my favorite pairs are the Hybros, the Ashores, and the Sobros. One of my go-to lenses is the green mirror lens. These sunglasses are going to help you see into the water, see following fish, see grass lines, see brush piles. They also have awesome apparel on the site, so go to waterlandco.com, use my code LUNA15. It's going to save you 15% on your purchase over there, and anything over 50 bucks, they got free shipping as well. So when it comes to the weed guard, it all boils down to leverage. And when you cut that weed guard down, you lose leverage. Because basically, if you take this jig right here with this weed guard, this is a full weed guard on this jig, and when you push it at the end of the jig's weed guard, you have the easiest ability to bend that weed guard down. When you push it from closer to the base, you have more resistance. And that, to me, is the key that you need to think about when you decide to modify your jig's weed guard or not, because the closer you cut that jig's weed guard to the base, the stiffer that weed guard ends up getting. Guys, you can test this leverage theory for yourself. All you got to do is do exactly what I just did with a jig of your own in this video. Touch that weed guard at the end point of it, and then touch it down closer to the base, and you're going to feel this for yourself. And I think that my idea on this leverage point of view will start to kind of click for you, and you'll see exactly what I'm talking about. So just try it for yourself. So the reason why I don't alter my weed guards is 100% because of this concept of leverage that I just explained to you guys. But I know that some of you guys are still going to want to adjust the weed guard, cut it down shorter. So now I'm going to show you how to do it correctly, so you still maximize the amount of leverage you're able to put on that weed guard to get it past that hook point. So let's get into that right now. Now, we have to remember that leverage is important when we decide to modify the weed guard on this jig. So if we take this jig that I showed you guys a second ago, and hopefully it's coming into focus for you guys right now, but if we just simply cut this weed guard right by the hook point, it's going to be stiffer than it is if we leave it alone. But we can still cut this shorter, or what I suggest is to remove strands of this weed guard. And you want to remove strands from the top of the weed guard, because that's what's going to soften it. If you remove strands from the bottom of the weed guard, you're still going to have that strength at the base that's going to prevent these bristles, or whatever you want to call them, from going past. So we definitely want to remove the strands from the top, leave these ones long, because if you take away some of these, it will soften that weed guard up, and it's going to be easier for it to go past the hook point. So if you're going to do anything to your jig's weed guard, I would recommend removing strands from the top part of the weed guard instead of just cutting it shorter. But if you're still someone that wants to cut it shorter, I'll talk to you about it now on how to do that correctly. So another way to alter and modify this weed guard is by cutting this jig's weed guard, hopefully it's back in focus for you guys, at an angle so the bristles on the bottom of the weed guard are longest. You want these bristles to be the longest and the ones on the top side to be the shortest. So you need to cut it at an angle. And my recommendation would be to cut it at the longest angle with a pair of scissors as possible, because again, that's going to allow you to have the maximum leverage over the hook point, and then you're still going to have some of the stability of the weed guard on the front side, but then you're going to have the leverage to be able to put on this weed guard to get it to go past that hook point when it comes to having a hook set. You want to cut that at the longest angle possible, so you're going to need to kind of play around with it on the jig that you're trying to modify. Not all weed guards are the same. Some of them are going to be more stiff, and some of them are going to be softer. So not every weed guard can you modify exactly the same and have the exact same effect. When it comes to getting a hook in a fish's mouth when you're fishing a jig, I think the rod, the reel, the line, and the hook set are much more important than modifying the weed guard on a jig. I think you need to look at those things much more closely to make sure those things are dialed in before messing with a weed guard, because I really don't think changing that weed guard really will improve it, and I think in a lot of situations it can actually cause you to miss more fish than just leaving that weed guard alone. For more Tackle Tip Tuesday videos, make sure to click on the Tackle Tip Tuesday playlist that's on the screen right now. If you like the video, please give it a thumbs up. Please subscribe to the channel as well. And I hope you guys watch some more of my content, and I will see you guys in the next video. See ya.